guys. Hold on, I'm gonna put on a playlist. Okay, let's see if anybody hops on. Hi, Ash. Okay, so I am coming out with a full new color matching system for 3D. And I know you guys are really excited to learn Demi, and I want to start talking more Demi, but I didn't want to abandon any new artists that have started out with 3D and any artists who haven't been able to afford Demi yet or don't want to take that plunge just yet. Hey, April. Hey, Ash. Hey, Steph. So I'm going to just kind of teach you guys how I teach 3D foundation and how I match 3D foundation. And I'm going to also be posting, we made a new awesome color match form that you guys can use for your business. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Dina. So that you can use this for your business. And so I want everyone to understand what I'm talking about in that form. So I'm going to start with some Milk moisturizer. I am so dry, you guys. My lips are dry. Everything's dry. So I'm going to put Milk on. If you're already oily and, of course you need to moisturize still, but you can always start with a little bit of Stay Spray instead of Milk, but I'm going to start with Milk. Okay, so this is kind of going to be a Q&A. It's going to be a fun little training. I haven't done a live training in a long time, so I thought it would be really fun to talk makeup after we've been talking so much like branding and all that stuff. So, all right, so first things first, when I am selling makeup, I ultimately always know what I want, and what I want is to get them into at least a mini double-decker. This is not to be greedy. Let me tell you why I focus on the mini double-decker always. That is because this is the gateway. This is the way to get people to understand the magic of Saint makeup and to understand the magic of doing your entire makeup out of one palette. I don't think that you could get them into a smaller version, but I used to always focus on the quad, and I wouldn't get very good sales, and I didn't know why, and then I wouldn't get very good resales, and I think it really just boils down to the fact that people don't understand the concept of it if they're still digging through all of their other makeup products to get to their eyeshadows, to get to their lip colors, all of that. Hey guys, that's where I want you guys to start with your mind. The way your mind works is our goal is to always get people into a mini double-decker. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about is how I do things. Now, you can do things however you want. This is your business. This is how I do things, and this is what works really, really well for me. So what I always recommend, no matter what, is 3 highlight colors for every single client I come into contact with. Why? I'll tell you. 3 highlights and 1 contour. The reason I do this is because between those 3 highlights, between December 2020 and December 2021, they are gonna always have the right match, no matter if it's summer, winter, spring, fall. They're always gonna have what they need. If they have blemishes, they're always gonna have what they need. If their rosacea is flared up, they're always gonna have what they need. If they get tan and they get melasma, they are always going to have what they need. So that is why 3 highlight colors are so important day to day, okay? So then the contour color is very important too. Obviously, you're gonna wanna be careful how you match that, and we've given you some really great tools for that as well. So just hang tight for when we post that after this live video. The second thing that I will always recommend to my clients are these 2 brushes. I like the Buffy, and is this one being called the Detail Contour Brush now? What are we calling this now? Someone let me know. So I'm gonna just get started with my makeup. So this is what I recommend, right? And you can always recommend it. I think I always recommend a sponge as well, but mainly like bottom of the barrel is this, right? That's what I want them to have, because they can get a sponge somewhere else if they need to. Not a good one, really, right? But a lot of people have a big fluffy brush. A lot of people have like certain brushes. The brushes that they're not going to have, it's just detail, okay? The brushes that people really mostly are not going to have is this one and this one. They're probably not going to have that in their compact. So I would really push those two brushes. Okay, so now I'm gonna get kind of started on the method of makeup that I use. And like I said, be sure and ask questions. I'm kind of seeing some of your comments come in, so just be sure and ask questions as we go. So I like to keep the makeup at its original intent, which was to be one layer of makeup. So that's how I'm going to be applying this makeup, and this is how I teach it. We're going to start with contour. That's what I usually always do no matter what. So we're gonna start with contour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to picture that I have a triangle on my forehead right here. So I'm gonna go up from the peaks of my eyebrows, and I'm just gonna kind of go up and make this little triangle. Anything on the outside of this triangle, you guys, is going to be contoured. And the beauty of this is when you teach this way, your clients are going to understand that their face is their own roadmap and they can do this. And the more simple and the more you teach, the better. So we're gonna pretend that triangle's still there, and I'm just gonna go on the outside of my triangle with my contour color, okay? Now I have a bruise here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go around that bruise, because that's already nice and contoured right there, right? And we don't put contour anywhere we don't need it. So if I were to go over that bruise with contour, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna add more dark colors to something that's already dark. Now, if I wanna change the tonality of that bruise, I could maybe come in with a little bit of Bella, and I can kind of dab the Bella on there, and boom, it kind of goes away. Okay, so remember that the less is more, because I can still see my beautiful skin in there, but I've just created a beautiful shadow. The other thing I want you to remember is dark colors absorb light, light colors reflect it. So the darker the color, the more it's going to absorb light and make it look like there's a shadow there, okay? So next I'm gonna go to, oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. Next, I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna feel for the most prominent part of my cheekbone. That's the part that sticks out the most. Take my contour color, and I am going to just give that cheekbone a little hug, okay? Just like that. You guys see how I skipped this part because I already have a nice contour right there, because I already have a shadow. I'm not gonna add a shadow where I already have one. So same thing over here. This is when my face is a little fuller on this side. So give your cheekbone a little hug with the brush, and then I can kind of drag that down if I want to. If you're already really slender in the face, you can use this side of the brush, and you can come, same thing. You're gonna go right under that cheekbone, but you're gonna make a little smirk, and you're gonna kind of do a little Nike swoosh under that, like apple of the cheek, and that's gonna make your face look fuller. So 2 little tricks to making your face look thinner or fuller, but however you want. Okay, then next I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna add a little bit of contour under my lip here. And then I'm gonna take my contour and I'm gonna do my jawline. So I'm just gonna go straight down from the ear, straight out. And I already have a shadow here, so I don't need to add a shadow there. Just remember, you have to know what you're doing. You know, why are you using this product right here? This product that I'm using, the contour, I'm using that to create dimension. So if I already have dimension, if I already have a shadow, I'm not gonna add more of a shadow, because then I'm just basically taking what's already going on and accentuating it. Does that kind of make sense to everybody? Okay, so next here, you're gonna really see it here. So pay attention. See that? I already have a nice shadow right here. I do not need to put contour there. That's already contoured naturally by my own face. So I'm gonna go behind that. Look at that. I'm going behind the shadow. to create my chisel. Okay, then on the sides of my neck, I'm just gonna go down ever so slightly and just create a nice shadow there, just like that. Okay? And pretty much contour is done, except for if I want to do my nose, which that is kind of an advanced contouring technique. I'm gonna teach you how to do it, but not everybody needs to feel like they have to contour their nose. If you're not mastering it, don't worry about it. It's not like the end of the world. So I'm gonna take the two little edges of my detail brush, and I'm gonna come in and I am going to imagine the thinnest, straightest line right down the center of my nose right here. And I am going to apply product the tiniest bit. Less is more with contour on your nose, always. So I'm gonna apply a little bit of a shadow to absorb light on my nose. Thanks, Alicia. Then I'm gonna flip my brush over and I'm gonna take that same shadow and I'm gonna connect it to my brow here. So it just looks like it's a continuing force into this area. See how that looks? So pretty, so natural, so easy to do. If you have any questions about that, please ask them. And then I'm just gonna take my contour and go ahead and create a base for my eyeshadow. Now there's gonna be, I know you guys have watched me do this 100 times, but there are a few different things that I wanna talk about next with highlight that I think that are important to talk about. So I'm just gonna take that and I'm really just contouring my eyes along with everything else. Thanks, April. Okay, so next I'm going to take my Buffy brush and I am going to go into my darkest highlight. Okay, so by recommending 3 colors, we have here a camo highlight, which is your darkest highlight. What about jawline? Would you skip the chin and contour the jaw itself? It really just depends. Like if someone's very angular already, you don't really need to add to it. So contour should only be placed in places it's needed. So if someone is very round faced and they want to look angular, then you can teach them how to do that. But if they're, so like say you have a tiny, tiny forehead, you don't necessarily need to contour it. It really just, I would just, you know, really kind of ask your client what they would like to see when they look in the mirror. And if they say, I would like my cheekbones to stand out a little more, you know, I would like my eyes to stand out a little more. So if you want your eyes to stand out a little more, what do? You create light around the eyes by contouring everywhere else. So it's really just a kind of about a directing light. Okay, so camo color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Buffy brush. I'm gonna take that very tip of the Buffy brush and I'm gonna come in to this darkest highlight, okay? And I am just gonna start going through my face and camouflaging whatever I want camouflaged, okay? So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna just, this is where melasma, rosacea, broken capillaries, anything that is something that you want them to cover up, you're gonna do that, okay? With this camo color. Okay, can you kind of see how that's starting to disappear? Now don't be afraid to recommend 3 colors to people because listen, 3 colors is going to be a better service to them than what you're already offering. So you've really just made a lifelong customer rather than just being like, oh, I don't want you to spend so much money. Just get 1 color for now. They're gonna hate it. It's not gonna do what they see it doing on other people, and they're going to, you know, go find someone else, something else to buy that is like life-changing for them. So really important to remember. Okay, so say someone has a really, really dark circles. I would just put that camo color just right in that area. Okay, just like that. So I'm not blending yet, but you can kind of see I've got camo going on, I've got contour going on. Meanwhile, my skin is warming everything up so that when I'm ready to blend, it's just gonna be gorgeous. And also notice that I'm using less colors, or sorry, less product than you may see a lot of people using. And that is really important too, because these are gonna last for people and they're gonna really, really love that too. And you know, they're not gonna have sliding and all of the yucky stuff that comes with using too much product. Okay, so I've used my camo color everywhere I want it. Next, I'm gonna go into my pop color. So this is my lightest, brightest highlight. Usually this is either sunlit, sometimes it can be aura, sometimes it can be papaya, sometimes it just depends, and I have a guide for you. But mine is linen. And what I'm gonna do with this, I can just do this on my phone, but what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna take it in the inner corner of my eye and I'm gonna work it kind of down my nose, just like that. Just like so, okay, like that. Then I'm gonna go in with the pop and I'm just gonna pop it right there, pop it right here, pop it on this upper cheekbone here. I'm gonna go into my camo real quick because I have this vein that I like to cover. So that's gonna go, the camo's gonna go on that. I love the word camo color, makes it something. Yes, I'm trying to just make it more, so the more we can make things self-explanatory for our clients, the better. Okay, so then I'm gonna take the pop color and I'm gonna just put it on my Cupid's bow, and then I'm gonna take my pinky. You can use the multitasker for this as well. And I'm just gonna put the pop color just right in the center of my nose, just like that. So there's pop. Pop's done. Camo's done. Contour's done. Now I'm gonna come in with the big end of my brush, like this, and I am going to, thanks, Mary. I'm gonna go into my bridge color. So camo, bridge, pop. Bridge is going to do what a bridge does. It's going to marry all of this stuff. So take my bridge color and I'm going to just apply that everywhere I didn't apply everything else. Really simple. Just gonna marry everything. Now, if you're working your clientele into a more demi world and you're planning to do that, you can even talk about not applying color where they don't need it. But you can see how I just applied that basically everywhere that I hadn't applied much color. Now, you can also take your pop color, this lightest, brightest color, and you can apply it to the brow bone. That's also a really pretty place to apply it, okay? All right, perfect. So now all these colors have really started to meld. They're starting to warm up. It's starting to get really good. I can go in and add a little blush at this point if I want to while that's warming up. So I'll just tap my blush kind of in between everything, just like that. I'm not a big fan of a ton of blush. So how do you match for camo color? I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet, and you guys can kind of go off of that. Granted, not everybody's face is on there, but I think it's gonna give you a really good idea of which one to pick. But a lot of good camo colors would be, well, it just really depends, but my favorite ones would be June. Aura's a really good one if you're really light. Sandy's a really, really good one. Mine's Sandy. Mango is amazing. Papaya is amazing. Goddess can be really good. Muse is fantastic. And then, you know, just as you go darker. So, yeah. Okay, so next I'm gonna take the big side of the Buffy brush and I'm just gonna start in my lighter areas, okay? Because I don't want my lighter areas to turn dark. So always, like if you're using one brush for something, I want you guys to start in, I'm just gonna look into the phone because that's easier for you guys to see. So start in your lighter areas and start working in the product. You can dab like so. just like that, and just kind of feather them into each other just like that. Look how pretty it is. It almost looks like I'm starting to like put a filter on, but I'm not. That's what I love about this makeup. And when you guys can talk about this makeup, I'm gonna have to go in and really pay a little attention to that, but just hold on. When you guys can really talk about this makeup in a way that seems, you know, that really helps people understand that this is a new concept and it's not something that they're already doing. Because if you go and put this makeup on the way that anyone would put double wear on or whatnot, then nobody's really mind blown, right? Because they're just like, oh, well, you know, this looks like good coverage. And that's what they're focused on is, oh, is it good coverage? Whatever. But if you can do it more like this to where you're like really teaching them something and really showing them that it's not meant to like take one color and put it all over your face, then you can actually bridge the gap with starting to introduce demi at some point as well. So this is a really beautiful way to do your makeup that saves time, but also you're not sort of giving up looking fantastic. So you guys can kind of see how that all melded into my skin and just looks flawless and gorgeous and whatnot. I always like to blend the contour up, not down, like that. Okay, so then we can do lips and whatnot. We don't have to, that's not really part of the method, but it's really good to remind your client and to really focus on, okay, so when I'm selling a product to someone, what am I really selling? Like, am I selling the actual foundation? Absolutely, but you've got to tell them why this is going to serve them better than what they're already doing. If you can show someone that they have a need that's not being met, and you show them how to meet that need, you then not only have you made a lifelong customer, you've made a sale, but you've changed the way someone is going to approach their makeup. So that's really important. I'm trying to do so much with my party tonight right now, but yes, come back, Kayla. Okay, so then you can apply stay spray, you could apply powder. If I were going to, you know, do this blemish cover-up situation, I would probably just dab that on with the detail hat or the multitasker. Since I don't have that right here with me, I'm just gonna put it on with the Buffy, and then I would probably dab a little bit of powder over that to just set it so it doesn't go anywhere. I tried to apply other makeup in the same way. It took me so long. Oh my gosh, Tiffany, I did that too, and it was just kind of a nightmare. Okay, so if you have questions, I can answer them later. I'm sure a lot of people will catch this later. This is like high time to go get your kids from school, and a lot of people at work still. So, but I wanted you to not be confused when I post the color match cheat sheet. Now, I want to stress that not everyone's skin is being represented in that cheat sheet whatsoever. So, like, for example, the darker you get, and on the spectrum, maybe you're going to choose a different pop color or whatnot, and the lighter you get on the spectrum. So say, like, you're the darkest of dark, our darkest color would be more of a bridge or a pop or whatnot, and then, you know, your lightest of light colors, you're gonna have to play with that a little bit too. Do I set the makeup with powder? I do not, Jessie. I'm pretty dry. So I'll set with stay spray and just be done with it. And I'll do stay spray on my sponge and then dab my sponge because I like the way it looks to kind of have just that buffed, gorgeous look. But if you... oh, April, you're just answering a question. So yeah, so if you want that really like Adele, really matte look, you're gonna have to set with powder for sure. And my favorite powder is the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent. And there's also that looks beautiful on any color of skin. And they even have a darker one for our women of color that are really dark. That is beautiful. So probably that one is my absolute favorite. In a pinch, I'll use the vanilla dust. Like if I were to just do this, I'd probably just use vanilla dust on it. But it's not as universal for those who are a little darker. So can we give more detail on contouring a fuller chin, double chin, etc.? I could totally do that. Do we have a Stay Free that doesn't contain aloe vera? Erica, anytime you can't personally use a product that we sell, I always recommend that you just find one that works for you at Ulta or Sephora, and just recommend, you know, that one to your clients, because, you know, as artists, I feel like we kind of are recommending what we use. So if it doesn't work for you, usually when something that we sell doesn't work for me, I don't talk about it. Do you know when we'll be able to use Hostess rewards for our new releases? Probably after the holiday, I'm assuming. We should have a darker setting powder. We should definitely have a darker setting powder, Alicia. Let me tell you why we don't, and why we might never have a darker setting powder, and why I'm surprised we even have a lighter one, to be honest, because they don't like powders in this. Like, they are not, Kara is not a huge fan of powder, period, the end. So that's why I just go ahead and recommend Laura Mercier. I rarely even talk about the vanilla dust because I feel like it's not universal. And so I don't like to talk about something that not everyone could go buy. So that's why I don't recommend our powder at all. So I would just recommend that, and that's just who I am. That's just, I'm never going to do that. Cayman can work, but Cayman is not translucent, Robin. So it's really gonna, like, for someone who's really pigmented and they have a lot of melanin, they're not gonna love it. So I just kind of direct them towards Laura Mercier, because I just feel like it's universal, it works for everybody, and I'm not discriminating any sort of person. But I agree, like, if they liked powder, I think they would definitely get a darker one. I think they just haven't, I just don't like powder. I don't know what else to say about it. Okay, I used to, okay, so anybody have any other questions for me regarding my method for 3D foundation, color matching, any of that stuff? I will post the PDF. It's a beautiful PDF. I hope you guys really like it. And like I said, we tried to get a decent range of skin tones, but they're not all in there. And so I'm just gonna warn you, not everybody's skin is gonna be on that paper, because really, like, from one person to the next, I feel like skin is very much like a fingerprint. It's like, how do you represent every single person? I don't know how. So you're so welcome. Like I said, anybody hopping on later, ask questions, we'll try to answer them. What else do you recommend them to get the mini double decker aside from 4 tins you mentioned? So so this is what I like to recommend to every woman, basically. And I'll just show you. So I like to recommend that they get this illuminator. I always recommend the glow illuminator, because I think it looks good on everyone no matter what. And then the Bella bronzer, if they are like a darker woman of color, they don't need bronzer. And a lot of I feel like, and maybe like if we have darker women that don't use blushes, or talk to me about that, because that's something that I'll always ask my women of color: are you into blush or are you not into blush? And so obviously, if someone doesn't need this size, I don't recommend it, but I will recommend that they get 6 eyeshadows, or maybe 5 eyeshadows and a Black Friday. And then I always like to get people into at least 3 lip colors. And then I will get them into blush, or sorry, a bronzer situation, and a contour and an illuminator. Now, a good bronzer, to be completely honest, for your darker women is going to be like indigo. So say that they want it because it has like that redness in it that will look just kind of like sunny and warm. So instead of doing Bella, you could do indigo and then like say their cola or whatever. So just kind of play with it that way. But basically 3 of these darker colors, so a contour, an illuminator of whatever sort, and then a bronzer of some sort. And I know a lot of people are using Icon for a bronzer as well, so just play with that. And then the 3 contours. What do I recommend for darker girls and blush? You know, it really just depends, like, because some of my darker girls, like, are, you know, it's so funny because you've got the girls that are just so red, the white girls that are just so red, and sometimes they'll be almost a similar match to a lighter woman of color. So really, I just go off of tone of skin rather than depth sometimes, because the tone makes such a difference in what blush I'm gonna recommend. But you know, I love saffron. Saffron is money. I love black cherry, because black cherry is just like that. It's like that stain that looks so natural and pretty. And then, gosh, those are probably my 2 favorites. And then for like, really depending on how dark they are, how dark their lips are, you know, even, what's the color? Frenchie can look amazing on a woman of color. Like, it will look so pretty on her Cupid's bow. You guys know how I kind of use, a petal on my Cupid's bow and then like petal to kind of brighten here. I think Frenchie does some of that magic with my clients who have a lot of melanin. So my biggest recommendation, if you guys have not gone through kind of my very quick women of color training, my recommendation for you is to really start, because I have a whole Pinterest board of different skin tones and different women of color, because I'm not, like, I don't look that way. So I want to be very familiar with how I can make them look the way they want to look. And so, yeah, so that's when I started to discover the whole Frenchie thing and how pretty that looks on a lot of my women of color. Yes. Lorraine, thank you for that. It really does, it does depend on what look they are going for. And that's why I say, you know, start a Pinterest board with your different tonalities of skin. So, you know, I have, of course, pinned, like anyone else, that you pin the people. So I pin a lot of brunettes with darker eyes, just because that's what I kind of resonate with, and that's what, you know, that's what I'm looking for to kind of bring out in my own face. But that's why I do have other pin boards that have full on just whatever I'm gonna need to like reference if I'm going to teach someone something. Is your contour color Astoria? Yes, it's Astoria, and sometimes I can use ash. Okay. So yeah, so it really depends on the look you're going for, and it really depends, you know, it's like we talked about in one of the upline chats, it's like women of color can look so different melanin wise, like dark to like light, and everything in between, and depending on their hair color and depending on what they're going for look wise. You just have to, I think the most important thing to do is to, like I said, look at it a lot, reference it a lot, and also ask a lot of questions, as in like what you want to, what they want, like what do they want to look like at the end? Because if you just assume that everyone, I don't care what color their skin is, if you just assume that they want to look a certain way, you're going to be doing them a disservice. So ask questions and listen to the answers. But try the Frenchie trick. You can also try it with Desert Sunset. It's kind of pretty with Desert Sunset too. So we're, you know, if you guys don't know what I'm referencing, I'll just kind of show you. I don't have all my brushes right by me, but let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about with the petal trick. So this is something you can do on any shade of skin, you're just gonna have to use a different color as the shades get darker, redder, pinker, and everywhere in between. And I can list a few that I think are really good, like this one, Frenchie. What's another one that's really good? Bear can do this really well depending on the skin tone. Ballerina. Just remember, as the skin gets darker, you gotta go warmer if you're wanting to get this kind of effect, okay? And as the skin goes lighter, we're going cooler. So when you think of warmer colors, I want you to think of like a sunset. And when you think of cold colors, I want you to kind of think of like an icy tundra. So cold is blue and warm is yellow. And so just kind of the more blue. So if you look at this color, look how much blue is in that pink color. Can you see that? And so that's gonna be your lighter, cooler color. Okay, so I'm just gonna take Frenchie, or sorry, Petal, and I'm just gonna kind of add it to kind of the inner part of my nose here. And this is what I'm talking about with women of color that you could do with Frenchie or Desert Sunset. That would look really rad. And it just gives you that like fresh, I don't know what it even is, but it's just something I like to see. Isn't that so pretty? And then same thing, you could do this on them, like to where you just take a little bit of Petal or a little bit of Frenchie and you just apply it right there. And it just looks so fresh and fun. So, hope this helped. I'm gonna hop off, but let me know, and you guys maybe post some pictures under this live of you trying this method and trying, you know, all those tricks. I wanna kind of see and hear how you like it better, what your questions are. I would really love to have a discussion under here. Oh, good, Vanessa. So yeah, so let's try just kind of blowing people's minds with this method. And that way, when, you know, the ones of you that have gotten Demi, when you bring out Demi, they'll be ready and excited to kind of try the next thing. Isn't that fun with Petal? Okay, awesome. Okay, you're so welcome, you guys. Let me know, like I said, post pictures of yourself. I want to see you know, what you come up with this new method with the bridge, the camo, and the pop color. And I will talk to you later.